Hello and welcome to this very special edition of Rare Reads, where I am in the box room with Boxroom Jesus and the Holy Trinity, because it's the coolest room in the house, basically, and it's very hot. So this is going to be me and my take on the Guardian 100 and then the Guardian Readers 100, like you won't have seen it done anywhere else, because I have come equipped with a Pygmies pull queue and the two lists side by side on toilet paper. Nobody else will have done it this way. You get something original on Rare Reads. So the blue is the Guardian's original list. The green is the Reader's list. If it's got some red stars on it, or I couldn't do stars because basically my pen was too thick to do stars because I've done it with whiteboard pens. So if it's got some red kisses on it, then that's the ones that I've read, and the kisses correspond to how much I liked it. First of all, before we get into it, I've got to have a rant, right, about the numbering system on the Readers. I've not seen anybody else mentioning this, right, but because they've got multiple entrants on some of the numbers, it's just fucked the whole numbering system up, and it did properly mess with my head. And I haven't seen anybody else mention that, but anyway, it's probably because they're better at maths than me. And the other thing that really annoyed me about these lists is that they've got multiple entrants for certain writers. And if I was God at the Guardian, I would have just made it so you could only have one entry per author. But anyway, rant over. So we'll get started. We're going to go in fives, starting with 100 down to 96. So on the Guardian's original poll then, you had The Road, Catch-22, Pedro, Pirano, never heard of that, Return of the Native, and The Known World. And of all of those, I've only read one, and that's Catch-22. Now, on the Readers poll, interestingly, this Dance to the Music of Time, again, another one, I've never heard of it, but it takes up multiple spots. I think 6 or 7 spots altogether it takes up, because I believe it's a series or something. Let me know in the comments if you want to tell me any more about that, because like I say, I've never come across that before, never heard of it before. Okay, on the next 5 then, we've got Invisible Cities, Sensational Education, Life and Fate, love the title. I would perhaps like to read that just for the title. Jacob's Room, and another great title, The Left Hand of Darkness. So I've read none of those. And then over on the Reader's side, we've got more Dance to the Music of Time, A Little Life, which I see a lot of people making videos about that on here. Haven't read it though. All the Light We Can't See, Animal Farm, and Loving a Time of Cholera at Night. So the only one I've read on there is Animal Farm. I would absolutely give it 5 stars. I think it's better than 1984. I do. It's my favourite of the George Orwell ones that I've read. And I used to teach it as well. I absolutely love Animal Farm. So yeah, I've given that 5 kisses. And right, Loving a Time of Cholera, no, never read, although I did think about it at one point, because I do love 100 Years of Solitude. Okay, so the next 5 then, on the Guardian side, we've got Ragtime, I nearly said Line of Duty, then Line of Beauty, The Turn of the Screw, which I have read, and I would give that 3 stars. It's all right. I'm not mad about it. The Vegetarian, and The Talented Mr. Ripley. I am gutted that I have not read The Talented Mr. Ripley. I've watched the film. I think it's an amazing film, an amazing story, and I do wish that I'd read the book first. But I do feel like with crime, there's no point reading the book once you've done. I mean, comment me if you think I'm wrong on that. But I do feel like, yeah, with crime, once you know the plot, then it's, yeah, a bit pointless reading it, isn't it? Because you know what's coming. And on the Reader side, then, The Magus, I DNF'd. I read The Collector by John Fowles, which I loved, and then I got The Magus, but I just couldn't get on with it. I just didn't really like it. No humour. There's no humour in it. It's a bit too dry. Of Human Bondage just makes me think of Educating Rita. Never read it though. Mrs. Dalloway, had to read it for uni. Didn't like it. I'd give it 2 stars, and that was being generous, I think. And Absalom, no, not read. I have read As I Lay Dying, but I've not read Absalom. I would like to read more Faulkner. And June, which I have not read, but my brother has. Okay, the next 5 then. So on the Guardian side, first one, A Farewell to Arms. I'm not sure if I've read that or not. The End of the Affair, right, I had to read this for university, and I was dreading it. I thought I'd hate it because I thought it was going to just be a romance. Very good book, actually, and I would give it 4 kisses. Bud and Brooks, never heard of it. Rebecca, yes, one of my favourite books of all time. 5 kisses. Go Tell It on Mountain, no. And then on the other side then, so Tristram Shandy, I've not read. I've read bits of it, sort of extracts, and I think I would like it. I think I would love the humour in it, and it's I think it's supposed to be postmodern before its time, isn't it? So I'm sure I would like that, but it's a bit too big to take on. I feel a bit intimidated by the size of it. Test of the D'Urbervilles, love it, 5-star, 5 kisses, 5 kisses. Jonathan Strange, also 5 kisses, just for the footnotes. Memoirs of Hadrian, never heard of it, and For Whom the Bell Tolls, I am honestly not sure. Next 5 then. So A House for Mr. Biswas, no. The Rainbow, I hate D.H. Lawrence, I'm sorry. I should like him because he's kind of local to where I live, but no, I loathe him. My Antonia, no. Dracula, one of the worst books ever written that I've had, especially ones that I've had to teach as well. Why on earth is that on a school curriculum? I have no idea. -5 kisses. The Bluest Eye, no. And then on the reader side, so The Road, The Red and the Black. So no, I haven't read The Road. I haven't read The Red and the Black. I feel like I should read The Road. The Plague, no. Dorian Gray, yes. 5 kisses. Although I can't remember it very well, but I know I did love it. And I do love a bit of Gothic. And The Name of the Rose, excellent. Also 5 kisses. I read that when I was at university. Okay, next 5 then. Nervous Conditions, never heard of it. Austerlitz, never heard of it. Our Mutual Friend, no, I have heard that talked about quite a lot, and I probably should at least check it out. Kindred, no. The Outsider, though, yes, I have read that. Also, The Outsiders is a great book as well. And then on the other side then, so The Stand, yes, I had a phase of being absolutely fanatical about Stephen King, and I did. At one time I'd read like everything that he'd written, but that's dropped off now. I've not read any of his kind of stuff for probably haven't read anything in about 20 years. I don't think The Stand is one of, I don't know why that's the, so there's 2 lists of 100 here, and there's just one Stephen King, and it's that one. I wouldn't say it's one of his best, actually. I would have gone for something like Shawshank Redemption. Brave New World, yes. Sorry, The Stand, though, because it's Stephen, I'd give it 4 kisses because it's Stephen. Brave New World, all 3. I don't know if I've given it 3 or 4, but I'm going to say 3 kisses. Brideshead Revisited, no, thank you very much. The Old Man in the Sea, brilliant, lovely book. I love an allegory. 5 kisses for that. And The Sun Also Rises, no, I have not read that. Okay, the next 5 then. So Jude the Obscure, yes, 5 kisses all the way for that. Crime and Punishment, 4 kisses. Absolutely brilliant book, but very grim, obviously. Blood Meridian, no. A Man Without Qualities, no. Although I've maybe met a few. Master and Margarita, right, I DNF'd this, sorry. So I read 100 Years of Solitude, and I read Aunt Julia and the Scriptwriter, which I also love. And so I got a bit into, kind of like South American. I read Don Quixote around the same time, I think, as well. Got into South American fiction. And then I tried this one. I just couldn't get on with it. Sorry. Yeah, just really couldn't get on with that one. On the other side then, Tinker Tailor, Soldier Spy, no thank you. Probably, I would say, espionage is one of my least favourite genres that there is. Aunt Road, yes, brilliant book. Absolutely love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. 5 kisses. And I used it when I was doing I referred to it in my dissertation when I was doing my MA. Unbearable Lightness of Being, what a book. I remember being incredibly just impacted by that. Just, it really kind of got in my head, that did. On the Road, 5 kisses. Unbearable Lightness of Being, 5 kisses. Piranesi is one of those I need to read. I know, I need to read that. I know. And The Dispossessed, no, I don't know if I've even ever heard of that. Okay, the next 5. So we've got The Colour Purple. I've seen the film, I've not read the book. The Good Soldier, not read. White Teeth, not read. Half a Yellow Sun, not read. Ring of Saturn, not read. Lighthouse, no. I'm not a fan of Virginia Woolf at all. Demon Copperhead, right. Let me explain. Yes, I did DNF it, but let me explain. So when this, I really, really, really massively wanted to read this because I saw everybody talking about it when it came out, and I love Barbara Kingsolver. So I got it from the library, and before I could read it, it had been requested by someone else, and then I just never got round to getting it out again or buying. I should buy it, really, shouldn't I? But I will go back to that, definitely. I love Barbara Kingsolver. Germinal, no, never heard of it. Madame Bovary, sorry. No, I remember though when I was at uni, people that did one of the modules on, I think there was like a novel course, and I remember people moaning about it and saying how much they hated it. The Neapolitan Quarter, never heard of it. Next 5 then. Howard's End, no. Never Let Me Go, no. I bought this for my niece though. I do like Ishiguro. Disgrace, you're a disgrace to the human race. No. The Sound and the Fury, no. I know I need to read more Faulkner. Mansfield Park, no, but I do live near Mansfield. Tin Drum, right, I don't know. I can't remember. I know I've watched the film, and I think I might have read the book, but I'm not sure. The Outsider, and it ruins, do you know what? This really ruins it for me as well. You know, if I'm not sure if I've read a book or not, I'll not read it because I'll be like, I don't want to waste time reading something I've already read. And there's a similar thing with, you know, that They Capture the Castle. The amount of times I've nearly bought that or nearly got it out of the library or whatever, and then I'm like, oh no, because I think I might have read it already. The Outsider, yes. We've already had that one, haven't we? That's a repeat now. And Rebecca, yes. 5 Kisses. Midnight's Children, I need to read more Salman Rushdie. I've only read 2 of his books. I've not read this one. And weirdly, I've not read the Satanic Verses either. And I really, that is on my must-read list, the Satanic Verses. A Gentleman in Moscow, no. The Waves, no. There's way too much. I think there's way too much Virginia Woolf on these lists. Sorry, I'm not a massive fan. My favourite Virginia Woolf is Orlando, though, and I would give that. Have I give it 3 stars or 4 stars? Orlando. I would probably give it 3. I'm just not a fan of hers, but we'll give it 3 for the LGBT rep. Transit of Venus, no. I feel like if you write a book and you put a planet in the title, you might win some awards or get on one of these lists. The Golden Bowl, no. Brilliant Friend. I think I might be getting this mixed up with Our Mutual Friend. I know there's one of them that I really do always mean to check out. I'm not sure which one it is, actually. Possession, no. Never Let Me Go, already said no on that one. Cloud Atlas, 5 Kisses All the Way. What a great book, and just a work of genius. 2666, no. And Birdsong, no. Okay, next 5. So Wide Sargasso Sea, absolutely brilliant book. I read that at university when I was doing post-colonial studies. 5 Kisses, Fine Balance, nope, not read it. I don't think I've heard of it, actually. I think it's a good title, though. Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is one of the funniest stories ever written. I absolutely love it. 5 Kisses all the way. Vanity Fair, no. And The Leopard, no. Emma, no. Lonesome Doves, no. The God of Small Things, no. Magic Mountain, no. And David Copperfield, one of the few Dickens I've not read, actually, but I've watched the Fernando Iannucci version of that, the film adaptation, that is absolutely brilliant. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. Okay, next 5. So The Golden Notebook, no. Giovanni's Room, right. I really must read some James Baldwin. I think I might have read some of his non-fiction, maybe some of his essays and things, but and I love watching him. I've watched like documentaries with him and things like that. I love watching him, but I really must read something of one of his novels. And yeah, Housekeeping, no. The title itself just puts me off. Magic Mountain, obviously that's a repetition, isn't it? So I've not read that. Right, Heart of Darkness, -5 Kisses. What a terrible book. One of the worst books I've ever had to read. I had to read it for university. Atonement, no. Do you know what? I'm saying no, but I think I might have. I may have read that. I'm not sure. Right, Tale of Two Cities, yes, and 5 stars. Watership Down, no. I do like the animation though, and I do love the song, and it makes me want to cry. Hitchhiker's Guide, obviously 5 Kisses all the way there. I've talked about that in a previous video before. And Lolita, right, I think, have I given it 4 kisses, Lolita? I think, yeah. I mean, just because of it's so out there, just because of it, how bold it is and how risky and how just out there in terms of it being kind of one on its own, really, isn't it? But wasn't a book I enjoyed, I can't say really, but I would give it 4 kisses. Ooh, no, I don't like the thought of that actually, but yeah, 4 whatevers. The next 5 then. Song of Solomon, no. Their Eyes Were Watching God, no. Age of Innocence, no. I always mean to watch this film actually, because I just think it's very unusual for Scorsese to do a sort of period drama, is it? So I feel like there must be something about it for him to have wanted to adapt it. Invisible Man, no. That's another one I do always mean to read. That's on my should read list. Handmaid's Tale, yes. I've just noticed actually, I think I've given this on, because it's on both sides, this one. This is appearing on the Guardian's list and the Reader's list. I think I've given it 4 stars on one side and 5 on the... No, it needs 5, doesn't it? It needs to have 5. Come on, don't be so ridiculous. Right, Secret History, 5 kisses. Handmaid's Tale, yes, we're going with 5 kisses on that. Heart of Darkness, -5. A Suitable Boy, no. And A Fine Balance, that's appeared twice, hasn't it, now on both lists? So there must be something about that people are choosing it. Maybe I'll have to check out to just see what it's about. Okay, the next 5 then. So Great Expectations, yes, 5 kisses. One of my favourite Dickens. Wolf Hall, no. David Copperfield, no. God of Small, although I've watched the film as we said earlier, because that's appeared twice, hasn't it now? God of Small Things also is a reappearance, isn't it? Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, yes, I absolutely love that. Do you know what as well? I didn't think I would like that book. It's one of those where it really surprised me how much I liked it. It's a brilliant book. 5 Kisses, Stoner. Can't really remember very much about this. How many kisses have I given Stoner? 4, I must have liked it. No, I did. I do remember liking it. I just can't really remember that much about it. Frankenstein, obviously, 5 kisses, one of my favourite books of all time. Used to teach it as well. Used to love teaching that. Catcher in the Rye, absolutely brilliant book. 5 kisses. Owen Meany can have as many kisses as I can fit on there. I've given it loads because it's just my favourite, probably one of my favourite books of all time, and would be in my top 3 favourite books. Count of Monte Cristo is on my should read list. I know I've got to read that book. Okay, and the next 5. So Frankenstein, obviously, one of my favourite books of all time, and 5 kisses. Pale Fire, it did surprise me that there's 2 Nabokovs on here. I've not read Pale Fire. I've seen it talked about a lot. And maybe I should check it out. Maybe one day. The Karamazov Bros, no. I do like a bit of Dostoevsky though. The Trial, yes. Have I given it 3? How many stars have I given The Trial? 4? I've given it 4 stars. Oh yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, of course. Yeah. And The Dawn, Q. Yeah, one of my favourite books. 5 kisses all the way. Confederacy of Dunces, what an amazing book that is. One of the funniest books that I've ever read. I haven't talked about this yet in any of my videos. I think because I don't own a copy, and because although I know I absolutely loved it, I can't remember that much about it. And it's one of those where if I had all the time in the world, I would read it again. Such a sad story as well. I don't know if you know the story. So he couldn't get it published, and he actually took his own life, and then it got published posthumously, and obviously then went on to win the Pulitzer Prize. That just gave me shivers just talking about it. Remains of the Day, absolutely. That was the best book I read on my MA. What a beautiful book. What a moving book. And again, one of those that really surprised me how much I liked it. Absolutely love that. That's the 5 kisses. Poisonwood Bible, also 5 kisses. If you've never read that book, please go and read it. It's an absolutely brilliant book. It's so well kind of crafted because it's like a family saga, and it's set in Africa. It's like a missionary takes his family to Africa to bring the word of God to the heathen Africans. But it's written from all different perspectives. It's like the daughters of the family that kind of they narrate it. and it keeps switching between the different doors. Oh, it's amazing, absolutely amazing book. With some quite nice humour in there as well. Master Margarita, as I've said, I DNF'd, sorry. And Infinite Jest is on my should read list, but I just never get around to it. I'm scared of not liking it. I think it's one of those where maybe one day. Next 5, so we've got Lolita again, Remains of the Day again, Midnight's Children again, Things Fall Apart. Great, very, very good book. I would give that 4 kisses. I read that for university. Portrait of a Lady. What a terrible title. That's just put me off. Sorry. Great Expectations. Obviously, I've already said one of my favourite Dickens. 5 kisses. I didn't say though, and I should say this. I think Mrs. Havisham, I think is one of Dickens' greatest, creations, and one of the best sort of characters I would say in all of fiction, really, or one of my favourites. Huckleberry Finn. What a great book. What a great book. And what a brilliant summer read. If you've not read that as a summer read. Put it in your suitcase, take it on holiday with you. It's a great book. I love Mark Twain. 5 kisses. Blood Meridian, no, that's on both lists, isn't it? Bleak House, yes, as I said earlier, 5 kisses, that's on both lists. Jane Eyre, 5 kisses, one of my favourite books, Jane Eyre. I just love the Bronte sisters. Oh, look, you can see the bottom of a toilet roll. Right, the next 5 then. So we've got Wuthering Heights, one of my favourite books of all time. I would say my favourite ghost story, definitely. And this is the only kind of romance I like, is when it's a twisted, dark, where they're just being cruel to each other, where it's like unrequited, or them just like being cruel to each other kind of thing. I absolutely love Wuthering Heights, and that's one of those where I'd just read it over and over and over again if I had all the time in the world. Tristram Shandy, we've already said no, I've not read that. Probably would like it though. Persuasion, no. 100 Years of Solitude, absolutely brilliant book. Love the humour in there. It's so bloody clever. I love all the people with all the same names, and what an absolutely amazing book. I read that for when I did my first degree when I was in Sheffield studying, and I just absolutely loved it. And that did, then make me go on to read more South American fiction, so including Don Quixote. Aunt Julia. Tell you what, check out Aunt Julia and the Scriptwriter if you've not read that. That's an absolutely brilliant book that's in the same kind of vein. 1984. I just think it's overrated, overhyped. I think Brave New World's better. I think Thomas More's Utopia is probably better, and I think Animal Farm is a way better book. I'm just not that fussed on it, really. Crime and Punishment, as we said earlier, I have read, and I do love a bit of Dostoevsky. And there's a film adaptation of this that's quite interesting. That Woody Allen, I think it's a Woody Allen film, and it's a really good kind of take on it. And I think it might be called Match Point. I think it's got tennis playing in it or something. But it is a kind of take on Crime and Punishment. It's really good. It's interesting. Check it out. Les Mis is my dad's favourite book, and I remember him getting us to watch the films and the TV shows and everything when we were kids. But I've never read the book, actually. I have read some Hugo. But my dad, here's an interesting thing for you. My dad is reading Les Mis in French. And he's got a great big massive like French dictionary next to it, which he uses if he's not sure on any of the words. Don Quixote, as I said earlier, one of my favourite books of all time, one of the funniest books I think ever written, and I think it was just way ahead of its. When you think how old it is and how it's stood the test of time, and also I'll tell you what I love as well about Don Quixote, it spurned all of that quixotic kind of those films like with Bill Murray in that are known as like quixotic. I love a bit of quixotic. The dreamer, the idea of just the man who's not grown up and he's just a dreamer and he's like not responsible and doesn't take his responsibilities seriously, all that kind of thing. I'm a dreamer. What can I say? I'm a dreamer. Karamazov Bros now, and Slaughterhouse 5, one of the best books ever, one of the funniest books ever, one of the cleverest books ever. And why was there no Vonnegut on the Guardian list? That is just a travesty. On the original list is a travesty. Okay, next 5 then. So we've got Moby Dick. Absolutely brilliant book. Really surprised me how much I liked this, and I thought it was going to be a very difficult read. I thought it was going to be a bit of a slog to get through, but I didn't find it was at all. I just really, really loved it. And I love that whole concept of, like, you know, somebody overreaching, hubris, a monomaniacal, you know, obsession. I just love that. I love that. Mrs. Dalloway, one kiss. I don't like Virginia Woolf. I just really don't like. I don't mind Orlando, but and I think there's just way too much Virginia Woolf on these lists for my liking. Emma, no. Bleak House, as I said earlier, 5 kisses for that. And Gatsby, one of my, probably would be in my top 10 favourite books. I absolutely love Gatsby. I love that whole thing of, like, the darker side of the American dream, or you know, I just think this is just a absolute genius book, and just a sublime ending as well. I've heard quite different responses to this, because I've heard some people going, oh, you know, it should be further down the list, and then I've heard other people saying it's not high enough up. So yeah, it seems to divide people a bit, that one. Beloved, great book. Yeah, I read this for university, and yeah, I think Toni Morrison is a brilliant writer. I think it's again another ghost story that I love. So 5 kisses for that. Gravity's Rainbow, no. Gatsby again. So we've got quite a bit of duplication going on, haven't we now? Persuasion again was, like, on the other list, wasn't it, a minute ago? No, I've not read it. East of Eden is one of those I think maybe I should check out, at least the film, if I'm not going to read the book. Yeah, maybe one day. Right, we're in the top 10. So we've got Madame Bovary. I feel like Madame Bovary's just been on here about 6 times or something. Pride and Prejudice, I've read, hated every minute of it, and I'll give it 1 kiss, and I'll tell you what I'm giving it that kiss for, because I actually quite like Bridget Jones' Diary. Or I read the book when I was probably in my 20s or something, and absolutely loved it. I don't think I would necessarily like the book now, but I do love the film. I love watching Bridget Jones at Christmas. So there you go. Jane Eyre, one of my favourite books. 5 kisses. I just love a bit of gothic. And yeah, the Brontes. Absolutely love the Brontes. War and Peace. No, I have not read any Tolstoy other than some of his. I think I might have read some of his short stories when I was at uni, but I've not read any of his novels. And War of Peace just reminds me of, I worked at this college. I just left a bit ago, and people were always just queuing up for the printers, and they'd go, is it War and Peace or just one thing? So that just makes me think of that when I think of War and Peace now. Anna Karenina, no. Proust, In Search of Lost Time. Right, do you know what? I don't know a single person, I've never met a single person that's read this book. So do message me if you've read this. It's one of those, it's on my should read thing, but you know, I probably will never get round to it, I don't think. Wolf Hall, no, I just don't fancy it. I just don't really, I don't know, just don't fancy Hilary Mantel books. It's never really appealed to me. Wuthering Heights, we've already spoken about. Moby Dick, we've already spoken about. Anna Karenina, no. Right, here we go then, the final countdown and the final 5. So we've got Proust again, To the Lighthouse. Oh, just Virginia Woolf, will you just do one, will you? Ulysses. So I have read Ulysses. I class it as a personal achievement that I've read that book, and I did enjoy bits of it. What have I give it? 3 stars? Have I give it 3? Yeah, you can have 3 stars for Dublin. We'll give it 3. Beloved, 5 kisses. Sorry, not stars. Kisses. 5 kisses all the way. And Middlemarch. So to my shame, I have not read any George Eliot, and I really must. It's, yeah, I maybe will do Silas Marner just because it's shorter and I'll get through it quicker, just to see if I like her or not. To Kill a Mockingbird, brilliant book, obviously, and really does deserve to be in. I don't think it appeared on the other list, did it? Did we have To Kill a Mockingbird? No, that's the first time it's appeared, isn't it? So that's interesting, isn't it, that it's not in the 100 for the Guardian, but for the readers, it's in the top 5. Grapes of Wrath, another one I don't think wasn't in the Guardian, was it? There wasn't as much American fiction, I don't think, in there, was there? No, I've only Steinbeck, I've only read Mice and Men, and I think that probably deserves to be in the 100. Actually, that was one of my favourite books to teach, and I have cried in front of kids multiple times when I've been reading the end of Mice and Men. Pride and Prejudice. Yeah, why is that in the top 5? Ridiculous. Middlemarch again, and yeah, The Lord of the Rings. I suppose it deserves to be like in the top 100. I know it is a much loved, classic, but I wouldn't have. Oh God, no, I wouldn't have had it in the top 10. I wouldn't have had it in the top 50, really. So that was it. The full rundown. There's the top 5s. I mean, toilet paper, you could say that's all it's worth, couldn't you, a list like this, really? It is just some people's opinions, isn't it? I'm not sure how many readers they actually polled, and I really, really didn't like the system on that one, how they'd got like multiple books all like clogged together kind of thing, so it wasn't a proper 100 kind of thing. The way the numbering system worked really did my head in. I also do think, yeah, if it would have been up to me, I would have said you can only have one entry per author. I think is ample, and then at least you could have a bit more diversity because you'd have 100 different authors guaranteed. But yeah, there you go. That was my take on it. As I've totted them up, I reckon I've read 45 off the Readers one and 33 off of the Guardian original one. I think, and there's some that I'm not sure about. Comments, do let me know what you've read, what you haven't read. Let me know of those ones that I've said, I should read that. Let me know if you agree or if you don't agree. Let me know if there's anything that you think has been omitted that's a travesty that should be on there. And obviously like and share and subscribe and all of that business. Before I go, I thought I'd just share with you, I've talked a lot about today about, things I should read. So like Infinite Jest, In Search of Lost Time, some George Eliot. This is my actual TBR pile. It's quite small at the minute. So what have I got on there? I've got Audition, Katie Kitamura. I've got Sombrero Fallout by Richard Brautigan. That was recommended to me by Drew Gummerson. I can't wait to read that, actually. And I've got a bit of Bob Mortimer as well. I absolutely love Bob Mortimer. He's so funny. I'm probably going to start with this one. I think it looks quite a short, quick read. I'm going to maybe get out in the garden in a minute and start that. And yeah, so that's it, really. Take care. Just in case you're worried about the horrendous waste of toilet roll, we will be wiping our arses on this for the next few weeks. I'm not sure how my mum and dad are going to feel about that, but I will put it in the bathroom and we will use it, don't worry. Please do like and share and subscribe and all that business, and it's goodbye from me and it's goodbye from Boxroom Jesus. Keep reading and take care and see you next time.